Welcome to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh, live from school in the Rattler Broadcast Studios. I'm your host, CJ Odom, and with me as always, this time for Season 5, San Marcos High School Athletic Director and Head Football Coach John Walsh. Coach, welcome back for Season 5.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely. Could you imagine 5 seasons of Rattler Up from the barbecue restaurant location where we picked up a new staff member and just brought it all into here, and now we're in the Rattler Broadcast Studios with student production, student graphics, and live on our very own Rattler Up network. Coach, did you envision in Season 1 that we would have our own studio to do all this in 5
No,
seasons
as
later?
we progress, I feel like we're in the AI world, and these kids are going to take over our jobs.
They really are. Every time I come in, there's a new setup, there's a new graphic, and I'm trying to keep up. So
Likewise.
they keep putting us on the air here, so we'll keep doing it. Well, this week on Rattler Up, we're going to check in, of course, on the big scrimmage against Del Valle this past week, getting ready for Rattler football season. We're going to look ahead to the whole season, including this Friday night's game against Hayes Hawks, and we'll be joined live in studio by San Marcos High School Principal Eileen Grose and Associate Principal Kayla Kirk. We'll hear from them all about the upcoming year at San Marcos High School. But, Coach, we are 4 days in. We've had half a week of school. How'd the first week of school go on your end?
It actually went pretty smooth. I mean, we had a week. It's been a while since we've had a week of practice before the school year started. We're usually in unison the last few years, but it was good to get a weekend of kind of like college football, which is just us coaching ball and the kids coming in just doing ball. So it was good. And then I thought our first week, smooth transition. Kids' halls were empty quick, and we just as normal.
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm kind of back in the practice of being a parent. Got my freshman up here, and I texted the admin. I mean, the Rattler Up night, that first couple days of school, it's as smooth as I've seen it. So I'm really excited. It was really fantastic. So, well, first off, we want to take a look at what we're looking at for the scrimmage this past Thursday night at San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium. The freshmen, the JV, the varsity teams were all there taking on the Del Valle Cardinals. And before we get to some clips, what are you looking to accomplish primarily in that first scrimmage of a season?
Yeah, I'll just start with the youngers, the JV and the freshmen. You just want to get as many live reps as you can because a lot of times they're playing scout team for the varsity. So it's really their first time to get really good coaching with a live scout.
And we were practicing up in the booth, for the announcing,
right.
And JV was on one side, fresh was on the other, and it was just rapid fire.
Yeah, you're just trying to get as many reps on film as you can because the best teaching tool we got is that video right now. Mm-hmm. And then with the varsity, the UIL lets you coach all summer now. So if you don't have your team, I'm not going to say well polished, but at least season ready, then that means you didn't utilize your summer correctly. And I think we did, and we executed well. Our scrimmage format was game-like, as you called it, and we played all our ones the first half, regulation time clock, a little bit of special teams differentiation, but I thought we executed well. You saw the score 28-8. We were up at half. I didn't think we played fast, and it showed on film. Some of these things you can see live with your own coach and I, and I wasn't wrong when I saw it. We could play faster. Pleased with our execution. We were pretty vanilla. We didn't want to show a whole lot, but we had to get some work in, especially for those 2 young Qs.
Okay, well, let's take a look then at some of the things that you would have seen when you went to the film. We're going to start on the defensive side of the ball and take a look at some plays from this past Thursday night against the Cardinals. Again, like you said, running normal plays that first half. So tell us what we're seeing here.
Yeah, Josh is just playing base defense, but it's a pass play by them. We're really talented in the secondary. We can play about 8 guys back there. I have no worries about someone throwing the ball.
Right. So let's take a look and see what we've got next here.
Someone's throwing the ball again and getting no worries. You can see we'll close. Physical back there. I'm not sure he's making that tackle, but if they do make the catch, we want to be real physical with them.
Yeah, pretty consistently you saw Del Valle quarterbacks. I wasn't sure if it was different ones, but they were having a hard time moving through their progressions because the coverage was there.
Yeah,
it was really impressive to see the cornerbacks had things on lockdown.
Yeah, we have a lot of seniors graduated last year, but a lot of this junior class and senior class played a lot last year, so they're seasoned.
We'll take a look at our next clip here.
They broke a big run on us early, and it was the only run they made. So Allen got pretty hot, called them together, and they were fitting where they're supposed to fit.
Make the stop in the backfield, so we'll keep going to the next one here.
We're on offense here. This is Ricky. I think he did a good job of having good pocket presence, and then Gatewood's just explosive. I mean, he's one of those guys that the ball's got to be in his hands because he can make plays like that. I think 3 guys touched him, and he still scored.
Yeah, and there was a number of times where he looked to be stopped or at least just a minimal gain.
Right.
But he continued on.
He's explosive.
The yards after catch, the yards after initial contact were huge.
Yeah, I don't think we had any get tackled by the first guy, which is a good sign.
All right, let's take a look at what else our offense did.
Back in the throw. Let me think what this is. Again, that's cruise. We didn't have a ball get dropped. That's a plus. I'm going to knock on wood.
There we go.
But the quarterbacks, they're young, but they just got to get close to those experienced receivers.
Mm-hmm. I think we may have one more on offense here to take a look at.
Who was the cameraman? All right, this is move-in jet, sort of a move-in. He played it good night. Got a lot of wiggle.
Just about got there.
His first 2 runs, he slipped and blamed his cleats, and then pouted for a little bit. We put him back in, and he's going to be a fun player to watch for us.
Well, that was awesome. Well, we'll preview the game itself later on, but for the week ahead, how important is it now this week to establish those game week expectations going into the first real one here now against Hayes Friday night?
Yeah, we've had a countdown probably since March on when Hayes Friday night got here, and we'd break out on Hayes in 54, Hayes in 32. So it's pretty good to say Hayes in 4. So, I mean, they're going to be here pretty quick.
All right. Well, we're going to take one scrimmage in the books and take time for another season of Friday Night Lights coming up, and we'll look ahead to that later on in the show. Also, coming up after this commercial break, we will be joined live in studio by leaders from San Marcos High School, Principal Grose and Associate Principal Kirk. All that and more as Rattler Up rolls on here on the Rattler Up Network. Welcome back to the Rattler Up Network. This is Rattler Up with Coach Walsh on the Digital Communications YouTube channel, your exclusive home for live coverage of Rattler Nation. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and let those kids know you're watching all the live broadcasts, the podcasts, and everything that they're putting up there. Well, the students in that digital communications program have started in on their 26-27 school year, and we are joined now by 2 of the leaders that help make a school year like that happen. And we are excited to have with us Associate Principal Kayla Kirk and Principal Eileen Grose. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Now, of course, we have principals or coaches on the show. We always the fans want to learn a little bit more about them, right? And so if you could both just give us your brief introduction, where you grew up, your career before being an administrator, and just that path that led you here to San Marcos High School. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first. I've been around for a long time. So I actually was born in Chicago, Illinois. Grew up for a few years of my early years in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Awesome.
So lived there for a while, and then came to San Antonio. Grew up in San Antonio. Graduated from Robert E. Lee High School, and I went into the military for a little bit. Got a business degree that wasn't for me, and then somebody told me about becoming a teacher, and so. About almost 25 years ago, I went into the classroom, and I was a science teacher for 12 years, and then became an administrator. So I've worked in high school at Pleasanton High School. I moved up to Bernie, worked at Champion High School in Bernie, and then now I'm here at San Marcos High School. I've been assistant principal, associate principal, an academic dean, and now a principal. So
Awesome.
that's where
How
I'm
about you,
at.
Ms. Kirk?
Grew up in Corpus Christi, Texas, by way of Calallen, and made my way up to the San Antonio area where after a first career in an organizational resiliency firm, I made my way into teaching at Zavala Elementary, where I taught a lot of our seniors and juniors, and then made my way to Goodnight, where I served as assistant principal and academic dean, and then this is my third year at the high school, too, as assistant principal and now as associate principal.
Awesome. So like you mentioned, going into your third year, both of you at San Marcos High School, I'd like to hear from both of you. What are you most excited about going into this 26-27 school year?
Well, I'm just always excited about students. I'm in this business for students, so I love helping parents and students to be successful. We have great teachers here. We have great facilities. This is a beautiful campus. A lot of potential for everybody and working towards us becoming an A campus. So awesome. That's what I'm excited for.
Absolutely. Yeah, every kid, every day connected. We want to make sure Tier 1 is where it's at, and that students feel seen and valued, and that we're able to find pathways for all students to be successful.
All right. So Ms. Grose, you were an associate principal for the last 2 years, and so just you were an integral part of the growth and the achievement that's happened these last couple of years at San Marcos High School, right? And you step into that role as principal this year. So I know you're excited about that, even though you've been in that role for many months. See, we're on day 4 of the school year, but
yes.
You've been running the principalship for several months now. But now that you have 4 official school days under your belt, how does it feel to officially be leading Rattler Nation?
It feels great. Like today feels great. Of course, although I've been doing this for a really long time, as I always call it the second in command, being the first in command is a totally different cup of tea. And so it took a little bit to get used to, but I think I'm getting my legs under me and it's going to be a good year. So super excited about it.
Awesome. Well, as I mentioned earlier, as a parent, I can tell you it's been going great.
Good.
Good. I talked to other parents, and there's been a change these last few years, and it's been really cool, and it's y'all's work. And so speaking of your work, Ms. Kirk, parents and students both hear a lot of talk about CCMR. If they're not familiar, it's college, career, and military readiness. You and I work together on a lot of this, right? And you were absolutely instrumental last year in helping our students get ready for what comes after graduation. Talk to us a little bit about the work that you do on that specific area.
Yeah, absolutely. And here at San Marcos High School, we have a goal of 100% of our students graduating CCMR ready. So we're making slow and steady chunks towards that goal. And we really just want students to be successful, right? We exist in order for students to be successful in a post-secondary life. So whatever pathway that is, we want to ensure that students are plugged in, whether that be being TSI or SAT ready and meeting those academic indicators, enlisting in the military and having access to all of those resources, or plugging in and completing a CTE pathway to ensure any sort of post-secondary career readiness. So the work that we do is we will audit our senior classes and our junior classes to ensure that every single student has access to one of those indicators. One of the great things that we did last year to motivate students is we had a cord tied to it. And so if you were at graduation last year and saw a lot of those students with that hot pink graduation cord, that was a really fun incentive that students got excited about that helped us move the needle. We ended up with a pretty good percentage last year that will surface in next year's accountability cycle, and we're looking forward to beating that percentage once again.
Yeah, the needle definitely moving. Again, I've been in the district for a long time, and the movement that's been making these last few years has been exceptional. So kudos to you and your team, of course. Now, Ms. Grose, one thing you've shared with people is your belief in finding the invisible student. And it's just so powerful to hear you talk about that. And I'd love for parents and students that are watching to hear your take on what you mean by finding the invisible student.
Absolutely. So obviously in education, I have always worked with lots of students, and there have been times where I've had conversations with kids where, hello, CJ, and they're like, how do you know my name? How do you know who I am? And I always answer them with, how would I not know who you are? And when I was an assistant principal and had to do discipline, I would talk to a student and say, hey, do you know the student that sits next to you in class? And they would say, I have no idea who that student was. So it helped me think about my own experience in high school and what that was like. And I came to, I don't know if I'm the original owner of this theory, but it just made sense to me. There are students in the classroom that they do enough to get by. They pass their classes. They're not in the assistant principal's office. They're not, on the football field or on the basketball court. They're not in the CTE podcast studio. And they just come to school and nobody knows who they are. And because they're not bringing a lot of attention to themselves. So the whole point of my principalship here at San Marcos is going to be to find who those students are and make them feel seen and heard every day in order to give them a good high school experience and to know that somebody is here that cares about them. So that's what I'm all about.
That's awesome. I'm sure parents are loving hearing that, knowing that that's who's leading, right? That's what the team is like. And so speaking about the team, let's talk about your admin team a little bit. You've got some returners in, obviously, Kayla Kirk, Olivia Short, Blair Hartley, Arlene Hooper, plus some new faces for this year, right? Including Dr. Lumara Blanco, Richard Ramirez, and, of course, longtime Rattler in a new role in Coach Brian Webb. So what can you tell us about the work that the admin team has done? I mean, well before summer, right? As people may or may not realize, the work for 26-27 began a long time ago. But can you tell us a little bit about the work that your admin team has done to have these successful first 4 days?
Absolutely. So just like you said, there's a lot of work that goes into the school year. It doesn't even start when summer for us ends. It starts when graduation from everybody else, for everybody else is over with. So the next day we're back at work. We're already making plans for the next school year, learning and growing as administrators and as educators in order for us to pass the knowledge on to teachers and students. But just, planning everything out from Rattler Roundup to Rising Rattlers to PLC training. We spent lots of time. We were back on contract. July 6th was our first day back. And the first time we saw kids was July 31st for Rising Rattlers. So we had a lot of time to just make sure everything was smooth, was a good transition, especially with new leadership. Right. We wanted to make sure that we knew what we were doing and made it flawless for everybody.
Right. So. Coach, you're up here all summer with your coaches. You see that admin team doing that work all summer long, right?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here listening to them talk, and I'm with them every day. And not long, but I always tour the office just so I can hear something I need to know, or I got to tell them something from my end. But these two, they've both worked in the master schedule, which is you've been an AP, so it's not easy. So it's a big puzzle. So
job,
they both got good knowledge and good problem solving skills. But what they both do, I've worked with both of them dealing with kids, and they're not just up here. They walk the walk, and what they're saying they do, and it's a good team. And you mentioned all their teammates, and it's good to have continuity from. I love where we went to from Dr. G leaving, and that's why I think the school year was smooth, is we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel. We were just trying to make things better.
Right. Well, Ms. Kirk, this is season 5 of Rattler Up with Coach Walsh, but every year we have some new faces. We have some new kids in the production booth today. We have new faces watching at home, of course, and some of those new faces are, of course, freshmen joining the San Marcos High School family. So what is your advice to those freshmen that hopefully by day 4 they know where their classes are, but they might still have some wandering going on? What do you say to the freshmen and their parents that might be watching today?
So what do you say to Macy, actually?
Yeah, what do you tell Macy?
Yeah, and to the parents out there, I know your babies have become freshmen before your own eyes and a lot faster than I'm sure you wanted them to. So I hope that you trust that they are in good hands with us here, and we have all of the best intentions to ensure their success here at San Marcos High School. And to the freshmen, know that your teachers are there for your support. And if you ever have any questions or need any support, go up to any staff member and let them know what it is that you need. And that's what we exist for. We exist for your success. Any advice that we have for you would be to stay consistent, plug into your community, and to ask questions. We want to be able to support you any way we can. Ask us questions, let us know what you need, and just stay the course and commit to the things that you love and help us get you to where you want to be in a post-secondary life.
That's awesome. I can say, like I said, I've got parents that I've met because they've known my freshmen, and that's the consistent theme. They're like, yeah, every time I have a question, somebody's going to answer, and they take care of it. So it's there. If you have a question, ask. It will be taken care of. Now, before we let you two go, kind of springing on you a little bit here, but there is a special segment of Rattler Up with Coach Walsh.
And that is Rapid Fire with Kirk.
And so what this looks like is I will put 60 seconds on the clock.
And Kirk will be firing questions at you rapidly. That's the name Rapid Fire. It was well named, Kirk. Great job. And so I will start the timer in just a moment. 60 seconds on the clock.
Are they both answering? They're both
At the same time, or back and
alternating.
forth?
So I'll call out whoever I want, and then you will be up.
You better talk fast.
Oh, I know.
Your 60 seconds begins right now.
Okay, Miss Grose, what is your favorite sport?
Basketball.
Miss Kirk, favorite restaurant in San Marcos?
Ooh, Valentino's.
Dream vacation spot?
Africa.
Africa. Thing you're most looking forward to this year?
Ooh, graduation so I can see all the clipboards.
Ooh, nice. Favorite song?
Ben by Michael Jackson.
Favorite movie?
Ooh, Alice in Wonderland.
What is the favorite part of your job?
Kids.
Kids. Favorite book?
Daring Greatly, Brené Brown.
One thing you miss from your high school?
My art teacher.
Beach house or cabin in the woods?
Ooh, beach house.
Coffee or tea?
You know me, it's coffee. 100%.
Yes, ma'am. And then fruit or vegetables?
All right, and your time is up, ladies. Congratulations, you made it.
Through Rapid Fire, we've had coaches run out here crying. So you survived Rapid Fire with Kirk. We appreciate it. And anytime we have anybody on the show, we always make sure to give them a chance to do some shout outs. Excuse me. So before we let you go, who would you like to shout out that might be watching back at home?
Well, my husband, Tom, and my two kids, Benjamin and Cameron, who are grown men. So, but they'll be watching.
I'd like to shout out Mr. Blair Hartley, happy birthday, and to the rest of our AP and administrative team. We are a dynamic group and love working with them every day.
Happy birthday, Hartley.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to an exciting year under your leadership.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We're headed to commercial break. When we return, we will look ahead to the 2026 Friday Night Lights season. All the games, all the excitement, plus a special look ahead to this Friday night's game. It is Little Rattler Night at Toyota Rattler Stadium as we take on the Hazehawks. Keep it here on the Rattler Up Network.
And pretty much been here ever since, and I'm very happy to be here.
Making a bond with my brother is like memories for a lifetime, you know.
Oh yeah, and there he is, number 12. You.
And so I was like, ooh, maybe I should give this a try, and I did, and I'm so glad I did.
Tom Brady.
Favorite movie?
Top Gun.
They get their open guy with the hot hand.
I definitely say our team chemistry.
Okay.
I feel like we've come together pretty well, especially coming off of the Corpus tournament that we had.
First year, and I'm super excited to continue the second year.
Welcome back to Rattler Up with Coach Walsh, live on the Rattler Up Network, the exclusive home of live broadcasts, student-led by the CTE Digital Communications Department. And so we are excited to take a chance now to look ahead to the Rattler football season. So, Coach, we begin with a new UIL alignment this season. We know every 2 years the alignment, and you can see there what we've changed. We actually didn't make a lot of changes for once. We tend to bounce back and forth.
Right.
It was nice to have a little bit more consistency. We lose Johnson. We pick up Piper and Wagner. So just kind of at the looks of it, I know you've known since February this was the district,
Right.
but how do you like the new district lineup?
Yeah, again, we're going to be familiar with most of them. The one that's most unfamiliar would be Piper.
Mm-hmm.
We had zero film on them, zero matchups.
Right.
Hadn't seen them play anybody, so that's completely new. But Wagner's been on our schedule in non-district, so everybody else we're familiar with, got film, know what to expect.
Awesome. Well, let's take a little bit more look at each of these. Now, we're going to talk about Hayes at the end of the segment because we got them Friday night. But after this, we move on. And let's start with Liberty Hill. So a lot of places have them as a top 10 in the state in the 5A division, coming off the district championship, running the old slot T.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've got a new head coach. I'm sorry, still on Liberty Hill, the old slot T. And so what is it like? You've got them. Then you've got Madison the next week with the new head coach that have kind of struggled the last few years. So
Right.
kind of two really different opponents in those next couple of weeks after Hayes. What do you look to accomplish over these first 3 weeks?
Yeah, it was really strange down here. And I've been in position to where nobody wanted to play you because you were really good, and you had to go find games out of state maybe.
Right.
We haven't had a hard time finding games around here, but after last year's season, nobody was answering our phone. Nobody was wanting to play us. I think I don't know if they thought some of those seniors were back or not.
Right.
And they saw that we had a bunch of good ones coming back. So it's not wise for a 6A team to play a 5A team that's state title contender, But when Liberty Hill called, we just won. I knew we have a good squad, and the slot T makes you think in different ways, and that's going to be good for Coach Allen and that side of the ball. So it'll be a challenge. It'll be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to it. We were supposed to go up there.
Right.
Miscommunication. They're coming back here, so we actually have four home games in a row out there.
Yeah, it's a straight shot. Lots of home games this week or this season. It's gonna be great. Well, as soon as we get done with Hayes, Liberty Hill, and Madison, district begins. We got a little extra district game this year as the district grew to 8. We were a 7-team district for the last 2 years. And district begins with who you mentioned, the Piper Warriors, right? They are new to the district. They're actually new to 6A now, right? This year coming up.
Right.
So we haven't played them before. They've got a quarterback wide receiver combo that people are talking a lot about, Lions and Dankliffs. So your thoughts on Piper and how do you handle that lack of video, that lack of study?
Yeah, you just going to be fast tracking it pretty quick, because usually you have your non-district play, you have an open week, then you open, and that would be fine playing a new team that's had some playoff success, but our bye week is not till after. So it'll be quick. When we get through with that last non-district game, it'll probably be an all-day Saturday night, Sunday study, and then trying to get familiar with them off the film that we get this year.
That you got initially, yeah. So after that big run of home games, then we're going to hit the road and head to New Braunfels, take on the Canyon Cougars. Now, they have playoff appearances for 4 years in a row. They're led by a junior quarterback, Knox Ford, and a wide receiver, Lucas Estordino. So we've talked their names on this show before because they're back. We lost that big one to them in 24. We got the 20-0 victory last year. So your thoughts on Canyon coming up?
Yeah, it's the quarterback. I thought he was a good player last year, and being one more year of experience, not a sophomore thrown to the wolves, he'll be tough. But I like our matchup in the trenches in that game.
All right, we stay in or head down for a little further. San Antonio take on the Steel Knights the next week. Now, kind of gets to be what needs to be said about Steel sometimes, right? They're a perennial favorite. They lost to Johnson in the regional semis last year. We haven't been able to get a W on them yet, but what a close game last year. That 27-21 thriller going right down to the wire. So I think this could be a really interesting matchup this week, specifically against Steel.
Yeah, the facts are they're the cream of the crop, and they got a lot coming back. They're a proven program. But yeah, that one still gets me from last year because I thought we were in control and let it slip right before the half, and then the momentum we never got it back, but and had our chances at the end. But yeah, they do a great job over there. Coach Sines and his staff are quality.
That'll be a great measuring stick kind of game, mid-season almost, right?
Absolutely.
So we're back at Rattler Stadium next, take on the Clemens Buffaloes. Now, they missed the playoffs last year. That's a 6-year drought for them. They do have a dual-threat quarterback in Carter McMinkey. 2-2 against them in the last few years. What are we thinking about Clemens when they come to Rattler Stadium?
Yeah, they always they're about like us. They have good talent, not a lot of depth, so them like us, those who stay healthy, will have a chance that, especially midseason to the end. So I think whoever's more healthy right there is going to have the leg up.
Right. Well, then we head to Judson. They've got a new head coach, but they do return several key starters coming off that big victory last year. So this has become a big rivalry game, obviously, over the last few years. So Judson are headed down south to them. How do we look that week?
Yeah, Judson's always – they're going to be the same. And it's not the Judson you speak of in the 80s, but they're just going to be explosive and fast and have talent on the perimeter. That's one that your big boys need to take control of, and don't let that speed get to you.
All right, now the next as we come back home next week to face the Wagner Thunderbirds, and they're doing what San Marcos did a number of years ago, that bounce back and forth of 5A, 6A, right? They're returning to 6A this year. They're returning a lot of starters. It's been a tough game for us when we played them the last few. What are your thoughts on Wagner?
Yeah, it's not slot T, but it's a wing T, slot T option. So I think at the
Lots
game
for Allen to work with.
I think after playing Liberty, we'll have a pretty good. Usually it's the only game we have that's like that. Now we'll have one early in the year, so I think we'll be more prepared to not let that offense surprise us.
Awesome. Well, we'll end the season at East Central on November 6th. We're coming off a highly charged game last year that went down to the wire. Likely playoff implications probably packed into this one. Right. And so thoughts on East Central and that final spot of the regular season? Yeah,
I fully expect, when you got an 8-team district and with a lot of talented teams like we have and equal talented teams, you said it right. Week 9 and 10 are going to have heavy playoff implications. So, again, I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. We got a good squad. But we don't have a whole lot of depth. So if we're healthy, we're going to be in those playoff implications.
That's awesome. Well, it all starts this Friday night at San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium as the Rattlers take on the Hayes Hawks in our home opener. Hayes is returning to 6A. We haven't played them since 2021, so it will be nice to get this old rivalry going again, right? San Marcos Hayes, that's been a rivalry that's kind of been on again, off again over the years, right? Now, they like to keep it on the ground. They've got an explosive option in Gabriel Peach, and then they've also got that more just ram it right down the throat in Ian Steigel. So what is the defense looking at to focus on against the Hawks?
Yeah, you probably, I don't know if you've listened to me talk to our team or not the last month, because to me it's their running backs. So we got to see them in the spring ball. We saw them the other night, and we have a lot of film on them from last year to the scrimmage, and they're really good at running back. And not that they're not without on defense or at receiver, but to me, we have to really hone in on that running game.
Especially with two different options to run the ball, right?
No doubt. And if they throw and catch, they throw and catch. But they still got to protect. They still got to throw it right. They still got to catch it. I just don't want them to put that ball in that guy's belly and have success. So we're going to really stack up on the run and make them beat us somewhere else.
Well, then Steigel also plays the other side of the ball. He'll be over there on the defensive side as a safety. They've also got several returners looking to win that battle on the line. So what does the offense gear up for against the Hayes Hawks?
Yeah, they're a blitzing defense. I really don't know how they're going. They're a 4-man front. We've seen some 3-3 stack. In the scrimmage, you rarely see people blitz. And by play 10 and 12, they were already blitzing. So, I think they're going to try to make it messy. We got to stay simple, do what we do, and make sure we get our explosive players the ball in spaces.
Right. Well, overall, 6 home games this year, so 6 opportunities to come out and cheer on the Rattlers. Coach, give us your final thoughts on the season to come before we get started this Friday night.
Yeah, I told the guys today, and I had an interview on maybe last Thursday with Fox 7, and usually when you hear a head coach say, man, this team really likes to work together, this team really likes to play for each other, this team really loves each other, that means he's probably don't have a talented team because he's trying to find good things to say, but this team's got talent, and this junior class, our junior class is our biggest class. When they were freshmen, it's really been the first time since I've been in San Marcos where my first eyes on them at Rattler Stadium, I said, oh, man, this group knows how to play the game. And they bleed purple. And they haven't backed off. They've just grown at it. And the seniors have latched on. Sophomores behind them have latched on. And they really do play for each other. And they do have talent.
All right, we're excited to see it. And so you got to be there this Friday night. Hayes Hawks in town. San Marcos Hayes rivalry revisited. as we do the home opener here in the season for Friday Night Lights. Well, that's going to do it for the first episode of Season 5 with Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. Before we go, we want to take a look at some of the upcoming chances that you have to catch the Rattlers in action this week. On Tuesday, freshman JV and varsity volleyball are all in the Snake Pit, taking on Wimberley. Those games start at 5 with varsity at 6. On Wednesday, tennis hosts New Braunfels Canyon, so that starts right after school at 4:20 here at our tennis courts. Thursday, you can catch the JV football team at Rattler Stadium taking on Hayes. And then, of course, Friday, it's the start of Friday Night Lights once again from San Marcos Toyota Rattler Stadium. 7:30 kickoff as the Rattlers take on the Hayes Hawks, and it will be Little Rattler Night. So that's always a fun event there, of course. So, Coach, Little Rattler Night. You've talked about, we've got an idea of bringing that. It's almost always Little Rattler Night, right? We're going to honor our CFPO kids this Friday night, but talk to us about what we're going to be doing for all the elementaries.
Yeah, I was in a conversation with one of our principals, and she was just really asking what is Rattler Night and make sure we're included. And I was like, you're included because it's always our CFPO kids, and they're at every school. But they just got my mind thinking. And so, yeah, we're going to Friday night's going to be busy. There's going to be kids everywhere. It'll be corner to corner full because all our CFPO teams come and their families come. But we're going to have Crockett Elementary and Travis. If they're in attendance, they're going to get to meet their principal down by the tunnel, and they're going to get to run out as Crockett Elementary, not necessarily with the football team or as Travis Elementary. And then, yeah, we're going to every week I'm going to reach out to an elementary school and see if they want to be a part of it. And it's a little different, but it'll keep them little Rattlers there all season long.
That's awesome. And I think, we interviewed our admin during this show, and anytime people come new to San Marcos, I find it's those types of things that hit them right away.
Right.
One high school town means everybody's bleeding purple, family ties to the Rattlers, and you see things like that, those elementary kids that have been out there. You see the kids that have been in Diamond Line camps since they could dance, and now they're on the field, and it's just an exciting night. Little Rattler Night this Friday night will be no different. Well, before we let you go, Coach, we always kind of have some kind of thing to talk about before we close, but I want to talk about that season unfolded. You got the yearbook of the 2026 season. We had it in 2025. We're doing it again in 2026. Tell us what folks need to know about that season unfolded.
Well, first, it was a great program last year. I mean, it was, we subscribed to it. We bought it. It was expensive. But each week we had an app that pretty much, gave the box scores, told a story of the game, pictures, videos, Mary Lee and I's interview would be on there. Anything that happened that week was captured. And then we did it week to week to week. Mm-hmm. And in the end, we printed it and made it a yearbook. And at our football banquet, we handed them to each senior or each player. And we had extras, but you watched the moms and dads fighting over, like literally I walked to my Forerunner. Back was open, and moms were in there looking for more boxes before I even got to my car. So it's a good program. But I'll tell you what Coach Walsh did. We in Sophia, they got together. We're not paying anything for it. Just like the RattlerUp Network or the RattlerUp Podcast, student-led, Waslastik's got a group, and we're doing our own. We're just going to take it, and we're not dumb people. We can do this. We don't got charges. So
amazing kids.
We have talent. We have talented kids that take pictures, and we got people that can put some graphics together. So we're doing it on our own, and I'm excited. And I think it's on the screen now, and it's going to be a great program again. But it's going to be San Marcos High School led. And
then you can already see Chapter 0 from our scrimmage. There's even content there from Del Valle. So check that out and follow us all season long on Season Unfolded. Well, that does it for this week. We want to thank all the students that made the graphics, produced the show each week. They were setting everything up. We got a new set, Coach. We got grass on the wall. We got a neon sign. We got lockers, new cameras right here in front of us. The kids have done a wonderful job of making us look as good as they're going to make us look in front of these cameras for Season 5. Thanks for Coach Wack for helping get these students what they need, an example of a great teacher with those great kids doing great things. So thanks for watching Rattler Up with Coach Walsh. I'm CJ Odom. We'll see you next week.